Hello, everybody, and welcome to the PHLY Eagles halftime show. Bo Wulf, Fran, Duffy, to talk about the first half of the first game of the season in São Paulo. The Eagles trailing 17-19, and Fran, I think fair to say it could be a lot worse.
Could definitely be a lot worse. I mean, defensively, to have those two turnovers for the offense on the first two drives, to only give up 6 points off those turnovers, that's a huge win for Vic Fangio's unit. It hasn't all been sunshine and rainbows on that side of the football. Obviously, you give up some big plays there towards the end of the first half. But for me, to see the defense stand tall the way they did, that's certainly a good sign.
Let's talk about the offense first and the perception that maybe they should have had some time on the field in the preseason. Hard to argue against that, given what we saw. We're watching the game here with Vinny Curry, and he made a good point that like the first quarter was their preseason. Yep. And boy, was it sloppy. Jalen Hurts throwing an interception on the first possession, and then a bad communication on a snap from Cam Jurgens for a fumble on the second possession. After that, it seemed like things settled down a little bit.
Yeah, you had an 11-play drive that ended in a touchdown there on the third drive. So you liked the ability to bounce back, the resiliency there from Jalen Hurts. He was like, all right, let's take a deep breath, let's calm down, and let's go through this. We're still in this game. It's 6-0 at that point, but certainly not the way you would want to start things off, because you have the sloppiness, you have the penalties, you have the turnovers. Not the way that you would want to start offensively, but as you said, as what Vinny said out in the break room there, this was their preseason essentially to start this game.
Now, the flip side to that is I would say it was a pretty sloppy end of half there.
Yes.
I think they could have done a better job at not getting a shot at the end zone. Pretty disappointing, but they do come away with a field goal, and they're going to get the ball to start the second half. So down to getting the ball, certainly you could be in worse position. Saquon, we got to talk about.
Yeah.
2 touchdowns. Looking pretty spry. The nice play on the touchdown reception for 19 yards was a play that we saw all summer.
Yes, a play where we saw receivers lined up on the outside, running vertically, basically to clear out space, the intermediate area of the field. Saquon comes from across the formation, so you hoping that linebacker that's in charge of him is going to get lost in the trash a little bit, and that's exactly what happened. They had a nice little outlet there just in case he was covered. Dallas Goedert underneath, but Jalen Hurts put it right on Saquon for a touchdown, and even the run, I thought Saquon made a really nice cut there, yes, approaching the second level to kind of run away from the linebacker at the second level.
9 carries for 31 yards and 2 catches for 23 yards
yes,
for Saquon. Devontae leading the way in the air, 4 catches for 49, and A.J. Brown 3 for 41. I would guess if I have to think of like one offensive adjustment, I think we will see a little bit more A.J. Brown in the second half.
Yeah, I think just continuing to build off some of the things that you did well in that first half. We'll see what Saquon Barkley's status is. Looked like he was banged up there at the end of the first half. The other adjustment that they got to figure out, and this is on both sides, they got to get the cleat situation figured out. And I think both sidelines can use a little bit of this.
Who is the sod pie here?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's crazy to me that it wouldn't have been figured out at this point. That that you would have kind of gone through the paces. You were on the field yesterday, but obviously both teams, both sidelines, trying to figure this out.
How about on defense? The 70-yard touchdown pass to Jaden Reed. We have seen several missed tackles in this game. Yep. Zach Bond among them. C.J. Gardner-Johnson on the long touchdown. Who has looked good to you?
Quinyon Mitchell.
Totally
he had the coverage on the opening drive against Christian Watson in the end zone, and then also the PBU he made on the final drive right, yes, just before the Jaden Reed touchdown. Outstanding play. We didn't get a full wide angle of it, but they showed enough replays where I was able to kind of piece together what happened. They ran a deep vertical route on Quinyon's side, and they're hoping, hey, we're going to take this rookie and we're going to run him off the picture. He saw it coming the whole way. He saw the route from the intermediate receiver. He was able to jump it, get his hands on the football, and knock it to the ground. I also love the fire from the rookie as well. He's getting right up in the receiver's faces afterwards. I love what we've seen from number 27 to start this game.
See a comment that somebody's stepping away from a wedding to watch this halftime show. Love that. Absolutely fantastic. Elsewhere on defense, now you talk about the slim margins of a game. Nakobe Dean drops a would-be pick 6, and then the long touchdown to Jaden Reed happens 2 plays later. What have you thought of Nakobe Dean's game so far?
So far, so good. I mean, he made some really impressive plays against the run early on in this game. First couple drives, he was able to knife through on some of those gap scheme downhill runs from Josh Jacobs and get home. And even if he wasn't credited with the TFL, he was able to hold up the running back well enough to be able to let his guys get to the football. As far as the dropped pick, yeah, you'd like to see him come away with it. But that said, those are the kinds of plays he made at Georgia where it's like, okay, like if he's starting to see it, he's starting to feel comfortable, that can only be a good sign for him moving forward. If you're an Eagles fan worried about linebacker, I'm not saying that everything's going to be fine,
Sure.
but this is what you wanted to see from Nakobe Dean.
Personnel-wise, we have seen no rotation at linebacker. It has been Dean and Bond. It has been Mitchell and Darius Slay on the outside with Avonte Maddox in the slot. Defensive tackles are not rotating a ton. We see a little bit of Thomas Booker, a little bit of Moro Ajuma, rather. But we've seen a lot of Nolan Smith and Brandon Graham. I think a little bit more than I expected.
Yeah, look, all these guys. It could, and I'm not even being facetious with this. It could be that the guys are on the sideline trying to figure out the cleats, because we've seen Bryce Huff on the ground a handful of times. All those guys are really trying to get their footing, so that could be it. Guys are slipping on the ground and saying, "Hey, like tap me out so I can try and change out and see if we can get things going."
All right, well that'll do it for our quick fire PHLY Eagles halftime show. We will be here immediately after the game. Myself, the least important, Fran Duffy, Jamie Lynch, the Super Bowl champion Vinny Curry, all here to unpack the game. We will also hopefully have Nick Sirianni's press conference carried live as well, and Zach Berman from the Corinthians Stadium in São Paulo. So lots more to come. Eagles getting the ball in the second half, down 2, but a chance to turn this game from sort of an ugly start into a good win. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you after the game, and as always, we love you.
We all silly like the mayor.